Yo, what up, guys? Kevin Grant here, and today I'm going to read some information from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. So, Chapter 1, You Are Not Your Mind. The greatest obstacle to enlightenment. Someone asked, Enlightenment? What is that? A beggar had been sitting by the side of the road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by. Spare some change, mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. I have nothing to give you, said the stranger. Then he asked, What's that you are sitting on? Nothing, replied the beggar. Just an old box. I have been sitting on it for as long as I can remember. Ever looked inside? Asked the stranger. No, said the beggar. What's the point? There's nothing in there. Have a look inside, insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid. With astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. I am that stranger who has nothing to give you and who is telling you to look inside. Not inside any box, but as in the parable. Not inside the box as in the parable, but somewhere even closer, inside yourself. But I am not a beggar, I can hear you say. Those who have not found their true wealth, which is the radiant joy of being, and the deep. Those who have not found their true wealth, which is the radiant joy of being, and the deep, unshakable peace that comes with it, are beggars. Even if they have great material wealth, they are looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, or love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer. The word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being. Once again, the word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being. It is a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that almost paradoxically is essentially you and yet is much greater than you. It is finding your true nature beyond name and form. The inability to feel this connectedness gives rise to the illusion of separation from yourself and from the world around you. You then perceive yourself, consciously or unconsciously, as an isolated fragment. Fear arises and conflict within and without becomes the norm. I love the Buddha's simple definition of enlightenment as the end of suffering. There is nothing superhuman in that, is there? Of course, as a definition, it is complete. Let me go back a little bit. Eckhart writes, I love the Buddha's simple definition of enlightenment as the end of suffering. Excuse me. I love the Buddha's simple definition of enlightenment as, quotations, the end of suffering. So Buddha's calling enlightenment the end of suffering. All right? There is nothing superhuman in that, is there? Of course, as a definition, it is complete. It only tells you what enlightenment is not suffering. But what's left when there is no more suffering? The Buddha is silent on that. And his silence implies that you'll have to find out for yourself. He uses a negative definition so that the mind cannot make it into something to believe in or into a superhuman accomplishment, a goal that is impossible for you to attain. Despite this precaution, The majority of Buddhists still believe that enlightenment is for the Buddha, not for them, at least not in this lifetime. You use the word being. Can you explain what you mean by that? Being is the eternal, ever-present, one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. However, being is not only beyond, but also deep within every form as its innermost invisible and indestructible essence. This means that it is accessible to you now as your own deepest self, your true nature. But don't seek to grasp it with your mind. Don't try to understand it. You can know it only when the mind is still, when you are present, when your attention is fully and intensely in the now. Being can be felt, but it can never be understood mentally. To regain awareness of being and to abide in that state of feeling realization is enlightenment. So, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. So, my intention was to share some information from that book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's book, and I hope that you guys can go back and listen to that and maybe get a deeper understanding of the information. Basically, what I grasp from it is that Eckhart is trying to point to us and show us that we are the observer, right? We are not the mind. We are our true nature, our true selves, who we truly are, is the observer. We are the one that is aware of the thoughts and the emotions that we have within. So become that awareness. Become that, you are that awareness. You are that consciousness that is able to observe what's going on in your mind. Observe things. Don't judge. Just observe and be present. Be aware of that awareness within yourself, and know that that is your true self. You are awareness. You are consciousness. Become aware. Watch the mind. Watch the thinker. The mind is the thinker. We are beyond the mind as awareness, as consciousness. Thank you.